What do farmers know about our food that most people don't? In this video, you'll learn how farmers are exposing what is really in our food, and what that means for the choices you make every day. Michelle Ramirez walks her orchard rows with a clipboard and a pocket-sized gauge, checking apples that look nearly identical to what you find in the store. But here, the real decision is not about color or shine, it is about numbers. Every week, Michelle slices a few samples and applies a starch iodine test. The reaction, a blue stain on the flesh, tells her how much starch remains inside. That starch is what gradually turns to sugar as the apple ripens, and it is the main reason a truly ripe apple tastes so much sweeter. For Michelle, timing the harvest comes down to this chemistry. A firmness gauge measures how crisp the bite will be, but it is the starch test that decides when the crew will pick. If she harvests early to lock in a wholesaler's fresh slot, she knows the apples will miss out on a crucial window, sometimes leaving up to 15% less sugar than if she waited for full maturity. That difference is not visible on the shelf, but you can taste it at home. The apple might look perfect, yet the flavor falls flat. Michelle's notes reveal the trade-off. Picking early means meeting a shipment deadline, but it also means the apples never reach their full potential. This is the kind of calculation most shoppers never see, but farmers live by it. The science of harvest. Timing shapes every bite long before a label or a price tag enters the picture. John Landis starts his day before sunrise in the lettuce fields outside Yuma, Arizona. Here, the clock is not just ticking, it is racing. Once a head of romaine gets cut, the countdown begins. Within minutes, it is hustled into a vacuum or hydro cooler where cold water or chilled air pulls field heat out fast. The goal is to drop the core temperature from desert highs, sometimes over 100 degrees, down to just above freezing, all in less than 90 minutes. If the lettuce sits around too long, even for a few hours, you lose crispness and shelf life. That is why the industry standard is clear. Get it from field to refrigerated truck within 12 to 24 hours. John's crew uses biostimulant irrigation to stretch water and keep the crop strong. But once harvest hits, it is all about logistics. Every carton is packed, labeled, and loaded onto a truck that never lets the temperature climb above 4 degrees Celsius. Any break in the cold chain, at the packing shed, on the highway, or in the store means wilted leaves and a shorter window for you at home. This is why a bag of salad labeled fresh might have been cut just yesterday, while a tomato or apple could have taken weeks to reach the shelf. For leafy greens, freshness is measured in hours, not days. The next time you grab a head of lettuce, know that a silent race against time and heat decided how it tastes and how long it lasts. Bruce Rominger, a veteran tomato grower in California's Central Valley, keeps a folder of paperwork that tells a different story than the one you find in the produce aisle. His tomatoes are not picked when they are red and juicy. Instead, they are harvested green, firm enough to survive the journey, but nowhere near ripe. From there, each load is logged with a lot code, a string of numbers that tracks the date and place of harvest, the pack date, and even the field crew. On a typical slip, you might see a harvest date like 2023-124 and a pack date of 2023-140. That is a gap of 16 days before the fruit even leaves the warehouse. After harvest, the tomatoes spend hours in a controlled atmosphere room. Ethylene gas is pumped in at 5 parts per million for 12 hours, triggering a uniform red color. This step is not about flavor, it is about shelf appeal. The fruit then sits for another 2 days to finish ripening off the vine. Only then are the tomatoes packed, labeled, and shipped to distribution centers. By the time you scan the sticker at the store, the true age of the tomato is hidden. The retail label uses the pack date, not the harvest date, so a tomato that looks fresh on the shelf could have been picked weeks earlier. If you know how to read the lot code, you can trace that tomato's entire journey, from field to warehouse to gas schedule and shipping manifest. Most shoppers never see this trail. But for farmers like Bruce, it is the paper trail that proves just how far fresh can stretch. The next time you reach for a bright red tomato, remember, what you see is not always what you get. The real story is in the numbers, not the label. The green USDA organic seal stands out in the grocery aisle, but what does it actually guarantee? To earn that label, a farm must keep detailed records called an organic system plan, showing every input, every field, and every pest control method. Each year, an accredited inspector visits, checks paperwork, and walks the fields to verify compliance. If even a single log is missing or a form goes unfiled, the farm can lose its certification, just like Jamal Okoye did in 2022. His crops stayed pesticide-free, but a backlog in paperwork meant the USDA had to revoke his organic status until he caught up. The seal is about process, not just practice. Jennifer Tucker, who leads the National Organic Program, points out that the rules are clear. At least 95% of a product's ingredients must be certified organic for the seal to appear. Anything less, and the label changes to made with organic ingredients, and no seal is allowed. But here is the catch. While the organic seal is tightly regulated, claims like fresh, natural, or clean have no legal definition. Anyone can print them on a package, and there is no annual inspection or paperwork trail to back them up. That is why farmers look past the buzzwords. They know that organic means paperwork, annual audits, and a lot of behind-the-scenes effort. But fresh and natural are just words, with no statutory backing, no defined standard, and often no more than a marketing promise. The next time you are reading labels, remember, one seal is a contract. The others are just conversation. Start with the front of any package or produce bin. The bold claims like fresh, natural, clean are easy to spot, but they do not tell you much. To get real answers, flip the item over and look for the ingredient list. The first ingredient is always the most abundant. If sugar or oil shows up early, you know what you are really buying. For packaged produce, check the country of origin label. It is usually tucked near the barcode or under the price tag. If it says product of Mexico or grown in Chile, that fruit or vegetable traveled thousands of miles, even if it looks just picked. Next, scan for the PLU code. A 4-digit code means conventionally grown. A 5-digit code that starts with 9 means organic. Codes that start with 8 indicate GMO products, though those are rare in US stores. For bulk produce, the sticker might also list a farm name or a state. That is your best clue for local sourcing. Do not skip the unit price. It is printed small, often right below the main price. This tells you the real cost per pound or per ounce, which can reveal when smaller packages are actually more expensive. Some labels now include QR codes. Scan them with your phone to pull up supply chain details. Sometimes you will see harvest dates, farm locations, or even a photo of the grower. Not every code delivers, but when it does, you get a window into the food's journey. With these steps, you can decode what is on the shelf in under a minute. The more you look past the front label, the easier it gets to spot what is hype and what is real. This is the kind of know-how farmers use every day, and it can change the way you shop. The myths about food quality run deep, but farmers have a different set of rules. Take Lee Wackerly, a berry grower in Michigan. He'll tell you the biggest enemy of a good berry isn't the rain or the sun, it's the machine harvester. One pass with the wrong settings, and you will get micro bruises that look invisible at first, but start breaking down the fruit from the inside. That's why the best berries are picked by hand, even if it costs more. The difference isn't just in appearance, it's in how long the fruit lasts and how much vitamin C is left by the time you eat it. Research shows strawberries can lose up to 86% of their vitamin C in just 5 days at room temperature. Cold storage slows it down, but there is no stopping the clock. The same goes for other produce. Apples coated in 1 MCP might look perfect for weeks, but their nutrients peaked long before you picked them up. And fresh isn't always the winner. Frozen berries flash frozen at peak ripeness often have more vitamin C than their fresh counterparts after a week in transit. So how do you sort hype from reality? Farmers use a simple rule: if it bruises easily, buy local or buy frozen. If it is shipped from far away, check for firmness and avoid damaged spots. For processed foods, the fewer ingredients, the better. And when it comes to price, do not assume higher cost means higher quality. Sometimes you are just paying for a longer journey or prettier packaging. Here is the bottom line. The number one truth is that quality can't be judged by looks or labels alone. It's about harvest timing, handling, and most of all, how long it has been since the crop left the field. The smartest shoppers use the same principles farmers do. Look past the claims, trust the numbers, and buy for real freshness, not just shelf appeal. Right now, every label in your cart masks choices made far from view. Farmers know the real story because they live it. You have the power to cut through the marketing and shape what ends up on your table. Today's dinner starts with what you question at the store.